This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, construction of Dunedin's latest co-housing scheme is well underway and should be ready for residents to move in next year. Greymouth's new $80 million hospital is nearing completion, but it won't quite be opening this year. And the Central Otago Young Winemaker of the Year competition was held in Cromwell recently. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Simon Anderson. Construction of Dunedin's latest co-housing scheme is well underway and should be ready for residents to move in by the end of next year. Located on the former site of High Street School, the project will have 24 units in total, with all units already being sold.
Former High Street School in Dunedin, now the site of a co-housing community under construction. The units are designed to create warm and comfortable housing with a low ecological footprint. The construction being a little different to normal, using structurally insulated panels to create dwellings as energy efficient as a passive house.
We've got features such as triple glazing, European windows, airtight construction, super insulated walls.
While the homes are self-contained, they share additional facilities such as extra guest rooms, workshops, common gardens and green areas. Most of the units are aggregated into 2 blocks of terrace-like housing with a strong community feel.
They all face onto a sunny sort of central courtyard. People have got their own patios by their back doors, but then beyond that you've got common kind of green space, common car park in the centre as well. All the units are they face the spaces in what's called the common house, which is the old school building. It's been repurposed. So there's a lot of intentional trying to encourage interactions between residents so that it just becomes a more social and interesting place to live.
The former school site was bought by Urban Co-housing Ōtepoti in 2013 with the aim of creating a neighbourhood built on ecological values which encourage social interaction.
Really the concept is that it's just designed to be a more sociable, more sort of sustainable kind of community than your typical standalone house on a standalone section.
The first 3 units are already complete and all 24 units have already been sold. It's hoped construction of the entire project will be complete by Christmas next year. In Dunedin, The South Today.
An Australian man who asked his friend to shoot him with an air gun is refusing to identify the other man. Queenstown police say the 26-year-old also refused to tell police where the incident occurred or where the gun was. Police were called to Lakes District Hospital on Sunday after he turned up with pellets in his abdomen and leg. One of the pellets will have to be surgically removed. The man told police he asked his friend to shoot him because he wanted to know what the pain level was, which police described as moronic. Greymouth's new $80 million hospital is nearing completion. Construction began at the end of May 2016, and after many delays, the new facility is expected to open next year.
Nearing completion. The 8,500 square metre new Greymouth Hospital, adjacent to the current Grey Base Hospital, includes 56 inpatient beds, 3 operating theatres and an integrated family health centre.
Purpose-built, and all the monitors and all that are all built in. They're all the latest gear.
The Health Ministry says the hospital will support the delivery of primary healthcare services and is set to include a 24/7 emergency department, critical care unit and maternity services. Midwifery educator Linda Monk is excited by the new facilities.
No, it'll be lovely. It'll be a really, really valuable facility.
When completed, the $77.8 million hospital is also set to house acute and planned medical and surgical services, along with outpatient care. Pradu Dayaram says it'll cater for many services not currently available at Grey Base Hospital.
We've got the isolation room, which we don't have in the present facility, not attached to CCU like we have here.
Main contractor Fletchers is set to hand over the completed hospital later this year for cleaning and staff training. However, it won't be open until next year, the year 2020. On the West Coast, the South Today.
The Coast Guard says a man who swam away after driving a car into Otago Harbour at Broad Bay was found in a hypothermic state and risked drowning. Police say the vehicle went into the water near Bacon Street about 5:30. 2 women were taken to Dunedin Hospital in a moderate condition. A third person, a man believed to be the driver, was last seen swimming across the bay, an officer at the scene said. However, by 7:25 a.m, the man had been found sheltering in bushes not far from the rescue vehicles. He was also taken to hospital in a moderate condition. The driver was found on dry ground, a little way down the coastline in a hypothermic state after swimming across Turnbull Bay. A Coast Guard spokeswoman said the distance from where the car ended up was reasonable, but appeared to be less than a nautical mile. She estimated it to be a few hundred metres. The Coast Guard said when the man was found, he was very cold and had been at risk of drowning. Fire crews from Portobello and Lookout Point attended. The Central Otago Young Winemaker of the Year competition was held in Cromwell recently. Local organisers say the event was great for the region, as well as for encouraging the next generation of winemakers coming through.
Budding young winemakers taking part in just one of the challenges in this year's Central Otago Young Winemaker of the Year competition. Last week's event saw 8 contestants judged on the many skills required for winemaking.
So they go through a few modules, fault finding, they do blending, a bit of marketing, forklifting, those sorts of things.
While the bulk of the competition was held at the Vinpro wine bottling facility in Cromwell, there was also an evening dinner at Bannockburn Hotel, which saw the competitors making their own blend from 4 different wines from 4 regions to be assessed by the diners.
They will present a wine, a blend of rosé that everybody in attendance at the dinner will be able to taste and judge for themselves their favourite.
The winner from the Central Otago region normally goes on to compete in the New Zealand Young Winemaker of the Year competition.
And then the winner goes through to compete in the Nationals in Marlborough in September. So it's all pretty exciting and great for the region and great to promote the next generation coming through.
However, this year's winner was Ben Toombs, who will be away on an exchange program to Burgundy in France while the finals are on. So instead, runner-up Jordan Moores will go to the finals, with the winner from there getting a free trip to Burgundy in France. In Cromwell, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. An Andersons Bay house fire prompts a local risk warning, and we travel to Ashburton to check out a multi-skills engineering challenge.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins, and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy 1 pair, save $25. Buy 2, save $60, and we have a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all, 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chill.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
No mai anō, welcome back. 2 women escaped from a burning Andersons Bay home as smoke billowed from its doors and windows yesterday afternoon. Firefighters quickly contained the blaze at a house in Puketai Street just before 3 p.m, but not before it caused significant damage to one side of the house. The fire started after a compost pile next to the home caught alight and spread to the house. An occupant told the ODT ash had been placed in the compost pile some days ago. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand officer repeated the warning. Hot ashes can stay hot for up to 5 days and can cause fires and should be stored in a metal container. The Ashburton Intermediate School Hall was a hive of activity and concentration as it hosted the ePro 8 Challenge semi-final. Nearly 50 Year 5 and 6 pupils competed in a mix of hands-on challenges using engineering problem-solving skills and innovation.
Competing in a range of challenges. Intermediate pupils from 20 out of the 23 schools in the Mid-Canterbury district taking part in the ePro series of events.
The leading teams from there go through to a semi-final, which we're running here today. This is one of many semi-finals, and teams go from the semi-final through to the grand final, which will be at the Canterbury University.
ePro Challenge Regional Coordinator Steve Aitken says the events are part of a nationwide competition aimed at challenging young minds to show problem solving and teamwork skills.
And they spend 2.5 hours working with the electronics and all the stuff off the workstation to build structures and solve mathematical problems to get points.
The semi-finals were split into 2 groups, Years 7 and 8 on one evening, followed by the 5th and 6th year pupils the following day. Aitken says it tests the pupils in many ways and keeps them focused.
For 2.5 hours, they are nowhere else. They're right in the pocket. They are focused, they're collaborating, they're problem solving, they're using all these soft skills of communicating, dealing with frustration, working through things. But for 2.5 hours, you won't see them focused on anything else. It's absolutely amazing.
The Year 7 and 8 competition was won by St Joseph's School Ashburton team St Joe's Bros, with Ashburton Christian School's Brainiacs in second, and third Mount Hutt College's Supersonic. Aitken says these days many children have a screen knowledge of electronics, but little practical skills on how to put things together.
But we're finding that a lot of them don't have sheds or things like that to manipulate things with these days. So when they come to the build, it's sort of like they're learning and discovering it on the fly, some of them.
In the Year 5 and 6 competition, Carew Peel Forest's Carew Carushes won, with Geraldine Primary School's GPS Magic coming second and Methven Primary School's MPS Red placing third. 3 other semi-finals were being held around Canterbury, leading up to the grand final at Canterbury University in Christchurch on August 28th. In Ashburton, the South Today.
Cromwell College pupils are adding their voices to fight against the invasive lakeweed Lagerosyphon in Lake Dunstan. The youngsters have created their own video calling for more funding to help fight the aquatic pest.
Enjoying Lake Dunstan on a hot summer's day. School pupils from Cromwell College are now calling for Lagerosyphon weed to be eradicated from the lake, something not possible with existing levels of funding. And they've rolled up their sleeves to create their own campaign video.
Hi, I'm Dylan. Hi, I'm Clay. Hi, I'm Willie. Hi, I'm James. We want the Lagerosyphon to go, and we need the community on our side to do this.
Hi, my name's Clay. There's nothing more annoying than having lakeweed on my line.
What do you think of lakeweed?
I don't really like it because all my hooks just get caught up in it when I'm fishing.
I've noticed a wee bit of an increase in it, and sometimes in certain areas when I'm swimming I get a really icky feeling if I can touch weed under me. I prefer it to just be stones down below. So I've heard that it's increasing a lot in parts and it's annoying boaties and things, so I think we could do with, you know, reducing the lakeweed if we could.
Land and Information New Zealand say it's not feasible to eradicate Lagerosyphon from central Otago with current levels of funding, and they see a breakthrough in technology as the key to making significant gains in management of the weed. While $210,000 was allocated to Lagerosyphon management in Lake Dunstan this year, only half has been spent because conditions have not been right to use the herbicide, and they're waiting for better weather to do further control work. In Cromwell, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, Air New Zealand passengers take a scenic route all the way to a new destination, and kakapo numbers are up. So what's the issue?
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. For a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We're having a massive menswear liquidation. Don't panic, it's not our liquidation, it's Muns Menswear. They suddenly closed 6 stores throughout the country. Muns have left their suppliers dangling and desperate to move large orders. We've come to the party. It's our biggest purchase yet. You can save up to 70%. Yes, save up to 70%. We've got strictly limited stocks at the best deals.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's a big one. South Dunedin store. Don't miss this.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chill.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Thanks for staying with us. Passengers on an Air New Zealand flight from Auckland to Queenstown have just had an unplanned scenic tour of Otago. A flight tracking website shows flight ANZ 611 completing some circuits around Terrace and the Wakatipu Basin before heading to Dunedin Airport. The A320 flight was scheduled to land at 9 a.m. in Queenstown but eventually landed in Dunedin around 9:30 a.m. A strong wind watch is in place for Queenstown and some snow is predicted to fall on the nearby Crown Range Road, but it's unclear if the flight was diverted because of the weather. The Dunedin Wildlife Hospital's treatment of nearly 50 endangered kakapo this year has significantly helped boost the population. However, that boost brings with it a new concern: lack of space. The critically endangered native parrot now has a population of 200, up from 142 at the beginning of the year. The Wildlife Hospital has treated nearly 50 birds this year for conditions such as fungal infections, broken legs and dislocated joints. The hospital also hand-reared more than 20 chicks so the birds could lay a second round of eggs and further boost the population. The problem is now what to do with all the kakapo. The two main breeding program islands are full now, and docs say they need to find new habitats for the growing population. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Construction of Dunedin's latest co-housing scheme is well underway and should be ready for the residents to move in next year. Greymouth's new $80 million hospital is nearing completion. Construction began at the end of May 2016, but it won't be opening this year. And the Central Otago Young Winemaker of the Year competition was held in Cromwell recently, encouraging the next generation of winemakers coming through. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome Hayden Meikle. Evening, Hayden.
Good evening, Simon. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Should be an interesting evening ahead at the ODT. Our lead story at this stage is on fuel prices.
Okay.
Another one of those hugely topical things. Jacinda Ardern, our Prime Minister herself today, saying New Zealanders have been, quote, fleeced for too long at the petrol pump, and I suspect most of us just sort of nodded our head when she said that. But that's a big, big statement for our Prime Minister to make, and it follows the release of the Commerce Commission report, which said effectively the same thing, that the industry simply hasn't been as competitive as it should be, i.e. prices have been going up rather than a bit of competition forcing them down. So, look, everyone will be watching this with interest. Is this going to lead to genuine action? Will it lead to lower prices at the fuel pump? So, huge interest in that. And a bit of drama this morning in the Otago Harbour, a car going into the harbour and the driver swimming off and sort of hiding from emergency services for a while. So we've got some spectacular dark photos from that event and some discussion of what happened there. On a lighter note, dog poo. Dog poo is also very topical, and we've got a school in Cromwell. Do not find it a laughing matter. They've had multiple Bags of dog poo been thrown into the school grounds. So this is an extremely serious matter for that school, and we're looking into what's going on and what might be able to be done about that. The boutique hotel for All Bell Chambers up here in Stewart Street has got the go-ahead. Seems to be a bit of the future, I guess. A lot of these boutique hotels going up here, there and everywhere. And lots of good sport, including, yet again, the school's rugby competition is up for a bit of a shake-up. Adrian Cicconi's looking into that. They're trying to get rid of some of these mismatches, how some of the smaller schools can avoid getting a tonguing from the large semi-professional schools. So heaps of interest in schoolboy rugby. It's still a sport that commands so much interest, and I'm sure that story will be very well read. And that's us for another night.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Hayden. And now time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with today's southern view of a toy car racing down the bike channel at the Dunedin railway station. Looking at the situation, a deep, low pressure system moves slowly over the South Island tomorrow and Thursday, with rain in western areas but mostly dry weather out east. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect showers and 13 degrees. Across to the northeast, where Nelson and Blenheim are due for a cloudy day and 14. Moving down to Canterbury, Kaikoura, Christchurch and Ashburton, you're all in for a cloudy day and 12 degrees. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, fresh northwesterlies and rain are the order of the day. Balclutha heads for 11 degrees, while the Catlins, Lumsden and Gore are slightly cooler on 10 degrees. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, you should plan for rain and westerlies. Wanaka and Queenstown head for 8 degrees, while Alexandra is the only centre to make double figures, with a predicted high of 10 degrees. Te Anau, you can expect 9 degrees and rain. Looking at the northern towns, along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru, expect moderate northeasterlies, some clouds and 11 degrees. Further inland, Twizel and Omarama, you're set for fresh northwesterlies, rain later, and it's 9 degrees for you both. In Dunedin, fine tonight with northerly winds and an overnight low of just 1. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with fresh, breezy northeast winds, cool temperatures, a high of 10 and a low of 6. Fine on Thursday with sunny periods, some cloud and moderate northerly winds, a high of 12 and a low of 7. And finally moving to Invercargill, cloud increasing tonight with northwesterlies freshening and an overnight low of 6. Cloudy with rain tomorrow and fresh northwest winds. Rain easing to showers and cooler westerly winds later in the day. A high of 11 and a low of 7. Cloud and cold on Thursday with showers at times and moderate northerly winds. A high of 9 and a low of 6 degrees. That's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.